Welcome back, friends. This is Sachin again from Team Decipher, and in last discussion we discussed about Mauryan palaces and Mauryan places. Mauryan palaces and Mauryan pillars, and actually one important discussion was left, and as UPSC is quite fond of asking these days, a comparative architecture, and most importantly with Achaemenian and Greek and Gandhar type of question was last year in the 2014 mains. So we will be discussing about the difference between Mauryan pillars and Achaemenian pillars. Well, the difference is basically of two sorts. One was of composition, and second difference was the locational difference. What about the location and the composition? As far as composition of Mauryan pillars were concerned, these pillars were basically monolithic in their formation. What was monolithic in formation? The shaft, as we discussed, the shaft of the Ashokan pillar were monolithic, essentially monolithic. They were inscribed from a single piece of stone, you can say, and mainly the Chunar sandstone, as we discussed in the last lecture, because Chunar was nearby a place to Patliputra at those times, so sandstone was acquired from that place, and it was carved literally out of a single stone. So rock was cut, the single stone was polished and made into a pillar. Okay, like this. Now, as far as Achaemenian pillars were concerned, they were made up of various pieces of sandstones which were cemented together like this. This is the single slab. Then one more slab was placed over like this. Then third, then fourth, then fifth, and so on. So this is also constituting a pillar, but this is not made up of a single shaft. Like in this case, this was made up of several pieces which were cemented together. So this was the compositional difference between both the pillars. It was fragmented and pieces joined by cement. Okay, moving on. Locational differences. These Mauryan pillars, if you can recall the Sarnath pillar, they were independently erected. Means they were not at all supporting any building or any structure. Fine. But whereas the Achaemenian pillars were concerned, they were generally attached to the state buildings. So these were the two main differences between the Mauryan time pillars and Achaemenian pillars. So we have covered pillars, we have covered palaces, and today we will look stupas and caves. Okay, moving on. Mauryan stupas, as they were popularized in the Mauryan era, first of all we have to understand what are stupas. Okay, well, to put it in a simple language, we can say these are the burial mounds which are prevalent in India from the Vedic periods. Mind it, even from the Vedic periods. These not were essentially the peculiarity of the Mauryan times. Okay, they were prevalent from Vedic periods. How? I can give you an example that. Let me tell you, the cremation was amply given reference by the later Vedic text as well, like ranging from 1000 BC to 500 BC. Well, however, in several pits and stupas and burial mounds, they were found in middle Gangetic plains. And what this clearly shows, it shows that post-cremation burial dating to the period between 600 and 300 BC was in practice. The Vedic text speaks of burying the bones after cremation. What they say, for example, Shruta Shloka Sutra, okay, what it suggests that, yes, apart from this Griha Sutra, they provide for the collection of bones, and this suggests that Shatpata Brahman, you must have heard about this text of the Vedic times. Shatpata Brahman, what it suggests that prescribed the burial of bones and the erection of shamshana or tumulus over it. Tumulus is something mound. That what they are suggesting that okay, you took these bones in a pot and create a mound over this, as suggested in the Vedic text. Well, so it is clear by now that it is a dome-shaped structure in which relics and ashes of the dead were kept. During the time of Ashoka, the art of stupas actually reached to its zenith. Almost 84,000 stupas were erected during this period. How much? 84,000. Ashokan period में. Although it was a Vedic tradition, no doubt, as we discussed earlier, that we found many stupas and burial mounds in the middle Gangetic plains, but it was really popular by the Buddhists. What happened that after death of Buddha, 9 stupas were. I'm just telling you the story so that you can grasp it properly. What happened after death of Buddha? 9 stupas were erected. The Mahaparinirvana Sutra, which is an ancient Buddhist text, it describes that after Buddha was passed away, his followers divided his cremated remains into 8 portions. Each of the 8 kingdoms in which the Buddha had lived and received one, at those times, जहाँ पे भी बुद्धा उस समय गए थे, each kingdom received the portion of the relics. And a stupa was erected in each kingdom in order to house these remains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These were the 8 kingdoms. I'll name these kingdoms later on. Each kingdom got a portion of the Buddha relics and they created stupas on the relics. Okay. Why? We will discuss it later. Then later on, what happened? Buddhist sources, they claim that during the 3rd century BC, the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka the Great, he ordered that these stupas to be opened further. He actually unearthed the relics from these stupas, and what he did, he took out relics and divided it into 84,000 pieces. And he distributed these pieces all over India and ordered that stupas to be built them all over in order to expand Buddhist world. What will happen if for example, if only these relics were only at these 8 places, so Buddhism will restrict themselves to 8 pilgrimage stories. But if you are having 84,000 places where Buddha's remains were there, so naturally Buddhism will expand its way. If you are posting and if you are planting the pilgrimage site to 84,000 places, so automatically this will give a boost to the Buddhism. Out of these 9 stupas, if we talk about these earlier, the foremost 8 stupas, they were actually 9. The last one is, I'm telling you the story of the last one. These 8 stupas were having the bones and ashes and relics of Buddha. The 9th one was actually having the original pot in which the relics of Buddha were actually placed. Now, what these 8 places were actually? These places were Rajgriha, Vaishali, Kapilvastu, Alakappa, the original position of this place is not known now, Ramgrama, Vetapida, Pava, Kushinagar, Pippalavan, and Pippalavan. Okay. Now, we will look into the architecture of the stupas in order to understand them better and in order to answer the prelims or mains question. Okay. As you can see, the core of the Buddha was this Buddhist stupa was made of unburnt brick. while the outer surface was made by using burnt brick, which in turn was covered with a thick layer of plaster. As you can see this dome, inside this dome there were the relic pot in which the relics of Buddha or their disciples were used, were kept. Over that there was a structure, there is a structure of unburnt brick like this. Suppose this is the pot of relics, then unburnt brick structure covering this, and the outer structure is this dome which was made up of burnt bricks, and this outer structure is in turn layered with heavy plaster, giving this a proper shape of the dome. Okay. The Medi and the Toran were decorated by the wooden sculpture. Now, what are Torans and what is Medi? Torans. Torans are basically nothing but the gateways. Gateways. 1, 2, 3, and one is behind this dome. So this was also Toran, as you can see there. The 3 Torans are shown on this picture. These are the railings or Medis, and this is the mast. These are the umbrellas. Okay, what devotee will do? Devotee will walk around the Pradakshina path as a token of worship. This is the railings. These both are railings. What devotee will do? He will circumference this Pradakshina path round and round, chanting about Buddha's mantra and thinking about the nirvana and enlightenment, and he will complete this Pradakshina path as a token of worship. For example, the stupa of Sanchi. Sanchi stupa in Madhya Pradesh, or the Piprahava stupa in UP wala is the oldest one. The monastery, let me tell you the story of this, little story of Sanchi stupa, because this is an important heritage site. The monastery at Sanchi was originally constructed by Bimbisara. He was king of Magda and he was actually contemporary of Buddha, the Ajashatru's father. Well, its present, this is the stupa of Sanchi we were talking about. Its present form to the renovation, it was renovated by so many kings, and like Ashoka and later Shunga kings, who actually displaced Ashoka's descendants from Magad, who through their support and patronage established the stupa worship as an institution in Buddhism. Now, having completed the stupa architecture, we can move to the next architectural form of Magadha and Mauryan times, that is cave architecture. This period, it really saw the emergence of rock architecture, rock-cut cave architecture. During the Mauryan period, these caves were generally used as viharas, and that is, what is vihara? That is the living quarters of monks, which are Jain monks or Buddhist monks. Vihara equals to living quarters. And whereas Chaitya equals to, you must have heard both terms together, Chaitya and Vihara. Chaitya equals to worship place. Okay. So sometimes these Chaitya and Vihara, they were together in the single compound. In Vihara, the monks used to live, and in Chaitya, they used to pray. So, the caves during the Mauryan period we are talking about, they were marked by the highly polished of their interior walls. This is the gateway. You can see the arc, semi-dome shaped, and you can see the architectural specimen which resembles like as if the work is been done in wood. actually what happened, this wooden sort of impression is basically a remnants of the Mauryan era. As I told you in the earlier lectures as well, the Mauryans used their palaces and residential buildings, and there are other architectural things. They use wooden wood as the primary building material. So though they were working in the stone this time, but still the resemblance to the wooden architecture was not losing itself. So the other feature was highly polished walls, and wooden resemblance in the decorative wall. Okay, as we are watching this specimen of Bihar, which actually is in Barbara Hill Cave. So what happened, these Barbara caves were actually given by Ashok to the Ajivika sect. Ajivika sect was one of the sect in vogue at Mauryan times, apart from Jainism and Buddhism. These are basically 19 miles away from Bodh Gaya, and the art of polishing the hard stone was carried to such a perfection that it is said to have that it become a lost art to the modern powers. That means even in the modern times we cannot attain such zenith of polishing a stone. These were the walls, interior walls were polished like a glass mirror. The two widely known wood imitating chambers are the Lomesh Rishi caves and Sudama caves. The details of these caves shows a clear influence of the wooden architecture, as I told you earlier, and similarly, as I can recall, the use of bamboo in roof of construction you can see in the Gopi cave, and it was made during the reign of Dashratha. Dashratha was descendant of Ashoka. Okay. Gopi cave में you can see the use of bamboo. In roof. Okay. Now, as we have covered the cave and stupas together in detail, in next lecture we will be looking after the sculpture and pottery of the Mauryan era, and we'll try to cover the post-Mauryan art as well if time allows us. Until then, I really thank you for watching this video, and please do comment and give your suggestion in the comment box below, because this will actually help us to improve and serve you better. You can also write down the comment box about the topics you want to make lectures by our team and listen lectures to our team, so we can prepare, and if the topic our team is think it is feasible enough and important for the exams, we will make a video on your demand. Okay, till then, keep watching and keep spreading a word about this education initiative by our team. Thank you, bye bye, and take care.